Mattie, just talk to me for a moment in relation to what we're doing here today at the headquarters of Minton Tira.
Well, Stevie, I'm delighted that I was able to attend the Mass celebrated by Father Micheál Hickey, which is the most important thing we can do, I suppose, is commemorate the late, great Canon Hayes, who actually had a quote always, better to light one candle than to curse the dark. And to go in here today and to see the wonderful display here of the old artefacts. Some of them I can remember, and it shows our age here today, and see the old pulpers here, which were often twisted and wound in farming, and the old milk bottle machines. A big step up from sitting on the stool milking the cow, which I was fortunate to have done as well. I want to compliment Matt and indeed the President Jackie Mealy and the CEO and everybody here for having this 40th anniversary of Community Alert, and great to see so many Gardaí here this morning, including Inspector Golden and Sergeant Ray Maloney and many others across the division, because it's integral, the relationship between Gardaí and the community. No Garda force can police without the support of the community, and Community Alert was all about that. We have the privilege in Newcastle, and I can stand corrected in this if Martin does the archives. There was a second group to be set up in my little village in Newcastle back in 1986 after a horrific robbery and beating of an old, he's still alive today, thank God, 94, but that time he was left for dead, and we came together, and a lot of good came out of it, because we built a voluntary housing scheme out of it and other things, as well as the Community Alert organisation. So it often takes a horrific attempt to get good. And I just say one quote to praise Minded here over the nearly century since it was set up, the work they've done. I mean, you see what it has evolved into today, our state, and the priest alluded to this, I think, at Mass, you know, how you know, things have evolved, and there's now, he'll welcome us, Oireachtas members there, we're there to help and whatever. But when you see the opulence down the waste is there, and you see RTE scandal, and another couple of million discovered the other day, you know, of an overspend. You see the OPW, and all these bodies that are just not answerable to anybody. And it's shameful. When you see the spirit.
Why is that, Mattie?
Well, this is partly blamed to politicians. They've allowed this. Well, the real reason is because the politicians have set up organisations like the HSE, like the NRA, like all these bodies as buffer zones away from accountability for themselves. That's the real problem. But when I was became great friends with the late Tom Fitzgerald, and it's nice to remember him today. And he was my link, really, with Canon Hayes, because I never met, obviously, Father Hayes, but he obviously started Mass with him and travelled the country with him, and he died a couple of years ago, but he had a mind he had the mind and the values of the late Father Hayes. And look, a Limerick band, which was pointed out this morning by Father Micheál and others, and in the hurling season that's on now, we have to acknowledge that, but he had the community spirit, not Nicole Kayla. And that's so important to try and get this back here. But to get it back, we have to tackle the Quangos. And if we don't tackle the Quangos, they're stifling our country. There's 36,000 of them costing $6 billion a year. These are they're a nuisance, an irritant, and wasting money. And put accountability back with the elected people where it should be. So that's Mitras here have an important role to play. They never were Quango, they never got big funding or anything else, but they were there. And I'm not referring to my good friend here, Michael Begley, an excellent public service workers, as there are many excellent public servants across many departments. But we don't need all these Quangos. We saw this whole situation about this new guru for housing. God's sake, Canon Hayes was here, he chose how to build houses. Take off the codes, get dirty, dig the foundations and get the houses built.
Yeah, a lot of people would agree with you on that one.
Thank you.